Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning meditation. We are continuing our work to release the year. We are joining on the sidelines of the Center for Enlightenment, the organization of my spiritual mentor, Jane Elizabeth Hart, who created the 7 steps process that we're using to release the year. And Center for Enlightenment is holding classes on Sundays with this 7-step process and um, also throughout the year on all sorts of wonderful soul evolution topics if you're interested. But especially this, since we're joining this process and using Jane's 7 steps process, I just really encourage you to check out the classes on their website, centerforenlightenment.com, as we are working our process through our Monday morning meditation time. So we have covered so far our disappointments and difficulties, our hopes and dreams, and our forgiveness for the year. Probably we're not done with that. I know I'm not done with that. This week we are looking at our good times and all the things that we're grateful for from this year. And as I was working on my good times and gratitude this year, I had some forgiveness things that came up. I had some disappointments and difficulties and hopes and dreams that came to the surface as I was continuing to write that I didn't even know. I missed the first time as I was going through each step. So just know that as we're stirring this pot up from the year and releasing all of these memories that of these experiences we've been through this year, that we are, things will continue to come up and we can write all those down through the end of the year and even a little bit after the year. Maybe not into February. We want to be well on our way into the new year by February, but first couple of weeks of January, yeah, we'll still see some things coming up from the year. So anyway, so as I was thinking about good times and gratitude in my journaling process, I really tried to think about each month. And I used to post a lot of pictures on Facebook just for fun. I would take lots of nature pictures and post them on my Facebook page. And I really don't do that anymore. But one of the suggestions for this step of remembering our gratitude and good times from the year is, looking back at photos. Maybe you have photos on your phone. Probably you have photos on your phone from this year, and just go back to January and just start scrolling through your photos and look at all the wonderful experiences you've had, the people that you've been with, the places you've traveled. What are you grateful for from this year? What experiences stand out to you as good times from this year? And photos are always a great way to jar the memory. Might even jar your memory for some of the disappointments and difficulties too. I was looking for a picture of my son recently, and I came across some old pictures that were not so great memories. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot that happened. That was several years ago. I didn't have to add it to my list from this year, but it was interesting that how much of a memory those experiences were. But we're looking for the good times of gratitude. So um, one of the reasons that we release our good times and gratitude for the new year, actually, there's a couple of reasons I want to point out, because often when we're releasing something and letting something go, we want to let go of the difficult things. We want to let go of the things we don't want to remember, we don't want to take with us. And so why would we release our gratitude? Why would we release our good times from the year that we've experienced? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that we want to be open to new good times and new things to be grateful for, new experiences, new people in our lives to be grateful for. And if we are holding on to old good times, old people, places, things, situations that we're grateful for, then we're looking at the past still. And we want to be open to all those new good times and new things that we're going to be grateful for in the new year. So we don't want to be looking backwards. We want to be cherishing those people, places, things, situations in our hearts and release them so that we are still moving forward. So that's one reason. Another reason is that as we think of a year, and I've mentioned in either last week or a couple weeks ago that as in my work, I often will hear people saying, oh my gosh, even my friend group, like all over, I hear this, oh my gosh, I can't wait till this year is over. It's been such a terrible year. And I've been hearing that year after year after year from people, not the same people necessarily, but just like as kind of a theme in the air. And, and it is sure easy to look back at a year and go, oh my gosh, I have been through so many difficult challenges this year, and to think about those and to really focus on those. And what our good times and gratitude steps allows us to do is to see that there has been balance this year. There have been downs for sure, and there have been ups, and probably a lot of ups, probably more ups than we can recall without going through our pictures in our phones. And so it just gives balance. It helps us see, like, sometimes when we go through challenging times, it can feel like those challenges can feel so all-encompassing that we forget about the good things that are happening. And so this really allows us to put into perspective our disappointments and difficulties, to put into perspective our hopes and dreams that did come true this year, that worked out just as we thought they would, or even better. And we want to acknowledge those and be very grateful for those, and to see that even though we have challenges in life, we also have a lot of good things that are happening. Rick Hanson is the author of a book called Buddha's Brain, The Science of Happiness is the subtitle of that. And in it, he describes our brains. I think I've shared this before. He describes our brains as organs. It's our organ that makes us go after things that feel good and stay away from things that hurt, right? And that's true physically. That's really the main reason we have that as part of us. So we keep ourselves out of physical danger, but our brains also add emotional pain to that aversion and attraction, attracting the things that feel good emotionally and pushing away the things that feel bad emotionally. And that said, because that's how our nervous system is set up, our brain has this, what Rick Hanson calls the negativity bias. And what a negativity bias is it means that our brains are looking for the danger. Our brains are looking for the things that are not going to feel good. Our brains dwell on the difficult experiences that we've had because it's trying to process the experience and learn what happened so it doesn't have to do it again, which is awesome in our learning process because we want to learn from things that happen. But when we're not processing and forgiving and releasing and having some kind of effort to, like we're doing with the 7 steps process, to release those difficult experiences, then our brain tends to dwell on them. Could be anything in the future too. We're heading into a new year, so oh my gosh, what's going to happen in the new year? There's a lot of unknowns. I know I have a few decisions I'm going to have to make in the new year that it's not time for me to make those decisions yet. So I just have to kind of let it sit there. And so there's that unknown, and our nervous systems can get kind of twitchy about that too. Like, oh no, I better start thinking about it. I better stay up all night trying to figure out what's coming and what's next and all of that. And we don't have to do that, but that's how our brains are wired, because our brain is trying to protect us from something that might hurt, or protect us from something that feels scary emotionally, even if it's not an actual physical threat or danger at all. So that's the negativity bias. And I like how Rick Hansen describes it. He says our brains are like Velcro with those experiences that hurt, Velcro with those experiences that we are afraid of, which means our brains hyper focus on those difficulties. And with the good things, our brains are like Teflon. Those good experiences just kind of slide right by us. And so we miss them. We spend so much more physiological energy, mental and physical energy, and emotional energy on the difficulties, and just a fraction of that energy on the good times. So Rick Hansen's suggestion is when something good happens, just take a moment and feel what that feels like in your body. That's exactly what happens when something difficult happens. We feel our physical reaction, we feel our agitation around it, and we dwell on it, but we don't do that with the good things. So he's suggesting be more conscious of those good times and all those things that you're grateful for, and really take them in and feel that appreciation in your body, feel that gratitude in your heart, and just notice what that feels like and what that does in your body. It's energizing and it's uplifting. Oh gosh, I could go on and on about this, but I'll stop there. I'll stop with that thought and not those two others that were coming up another time. But when we are bringing us back to our releasing the year, there's balance. There's balance in life, even though our brain has that natural negativity bias. We're not stuck with it. We can change that, but we have to do it consciously. And the 7 steps process and these 2 steps specifically helped us to see the balance in life, the balance in a situation or an experience or with a person. Nothing is all bad and nothing is all good. Another thing you might find is you're working with your gratitude and good times from the year is that some of those things that you were grateful for maybe also, or some of those good times maybe also led to a difficulty or an unfulfilled hope. Like, oh yeah, that was great and I'm really grateful for it, but it fell short a little bit, whatever. So it's all intermingled. When we work with the 7 steps, we're kind of breaking it down into these categories because it makes it easier to let go and to know what we're letting go of. So that is today's explanation for that. So gonna stir the pot of all those good things that we've experienced this year, all those wonderful things that we're grateful for. So I invite you to just relax and sit back in your chairs if you haven't already. We're going to take a deep breath and let go of all that information I just shared. We can watch it again later if we need to. But right now we are just letting it all go. And take a couple more deep breaths and let your body relax more and more into your chair. Let your breathing be coming from your belly, but just relaxed and at a normal pace. And we picture in our arms the container we've been visualizing during this 7-step process. Maybe it's a box or a basket or some other kind of container. I've shared before that mine is a woven basket with flowers and ivy all the way through it. But let your basket be one that, or your container be one that means something to you, that resonates with you. Just see that container in your arms. And in that container, is the year. And all the people we've been with this year, all the experiences that stand out to us are just inside this basket. We've stirred up our disappointments and difficulties, our hopes and dreams, all of our forgiveness needs of self, others, circumstances, God. And now we're stirring up those good times that we've had this year. What are the good times that stood out to you most this year? You do your journaling process. You can be more specific, more detailed. Maybe have a longer list, but right now we're just pulling up those that stand out the most. What are your happiest memories from this year? Let them come to the surface. And usually in our meditation time, we're working on letting thoughts go. But for our 7-step process, we want to acknowledge these good times, these happy moments from the year. And it's okay to just spend a little time in those memories. And even if some of those good times turned into something that was disappointing, it's okay. Let that disappointment come up too. We're stirring the pot with all these things today. So just let it all come out. You might even think about how those good times impacted your year, impacted you. How did these good times make a difference in your world this year? And now let's let all those people, places, situations, experiences that we're grateful for from the year. So let all those come to the surface in your container holding the year. What are you most grateful for from the year? Maybe it's one of your good times, or maybe it's something different. What do you feel most grateful for from the year? You might even find that one of your disappointments or difficulties turned into something better. The silver lining of a difficult situation. What positive impact did this year have on you? You're grateful for. And how has this year been important in your life? Perhaps you've learned something about yourself that's been so valuable to your growth, to your awakening, to your peace. Perhaps one of those people or experiences has made such an impact that you're still riding the wave of the goodness that it brought to your life. Maybe one of your disappointments or difficulties was so challenging that it grew you in ways that you're grateful for now. Just feel the love, the gratitude, the joy, that all these experiences, their memories are bringing right now. Feel what that feels like in your body. To have all that gratitude rise to the surface. This gratitude is part of you, it's carried within you. And I invite you to continue to let those good times and gratitude moments or situations continue to surface this week. Write them down. And right now we offer a special moment of love and light onto our holiday celebrations this week, whatever holiday you celebrate, Christmas or Hanukkah or some other holiday that is in your tradition. Or maybe you don't celebrate holidays at all, but you're gathering with friends of like mind. Whatever activities of this week, we just hold them in this energy of gratitude and appreciation. Seeing those people we'll see, seeing their faces in our mind right now. The joy and the laughter that we get to share together. And if you have some time right now to do some journaling on your 7 steps for releasing the year, I invite you to do so. And if you need to go about your day, then just hold this container of the year in your arms and carry it with you, and just keep being open to whatever it is from the year that needs to be acknowledged and released as we continue this process. And when you have time, write them down, spend even just 5 minutes every day addressing one of the steps. And we carry this gratitude in our hearts this week. I know that our time together is something that I'm very grateful for every week. So thank you for joining me today and every week. And have a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever other holidays would fall on this week that I know not of. And I look forward to continuing this process next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.